Don't touch her, just keep walking. Someone whispered it behind her, not to the old woman, but about her. Rain slapped against the bus terminal windows, turning the afternoon grey and restless. People rushed past with coats pulled tight, heads down, shoes squeaking on the wet tile. And right there in the middle of the walkway, an elderly woman sat on the floor, not slumped, not resting, crying. Her hands trembled against the handle of a faded blue suitcase. A thin sweater hung loose on her shoulders, one shoe was untied. People looked, then looked away. A man stepped around her like she was spilled coffee. A teenager muttered, "Probably crazy." A security guard pretended not to notice. And then came the announcement. "Final boarding for Route 47. Last call." 17-year-old Maya Thompson froze. That was her bus. If she missed it, she'd lose her first day at the new job her mother worked 2 months to help her get. She had exactly 30 seconds. The old woman let out a broken whisper. I don't know where to go." Maya's fingers tightened around her ticket. Everyone else kept moving. No one stopped. And with every step past her, it felt more final. The bus doors hissed open. The driver shouted, "You getting on or not?" Rain soaked the pavement outside. Maya looked at the woman, then at the bus, and in that split second, she made a decision that would change both their lives. She dropped her bag and walked toward the crying woman. She didn't know someone across the terminal had noticed, had been watching the whole time, waiting. "Ma'am, are you okay?" The woman startled, like no one had spoken to her in hours. Up close, Maya saw how small she really looked. Pale, exhausted. Mascara smudged under gentle eyes that had clearly cried too long. I can't find my son," the woman whispered. "He said he'd meet me here." Her voice cracked on the word son. The bus doors slammed shut behind Maya. Gone. So was her ride. So was her first day's pay. But somehow, that didn't feel like the worst thing anymore. "What's your name?" Maya asked softly. "Evelyn. Evelyn Parker." Her hands were ice cold, stiff, almost numb, like the floor had been pulling the warmth out of her for hours. "Did someone take your phone?" She shook her head. "He had the tickets, the money, everything. He told me to wait." "How long?" Evelyn blinked. "Since morning." Morning. It was nearly 6 p.m. Something wasn't right. Maya scanned the terminal. Still nobody looking for her, nobody worried, nobody coming back. That wasn't running late. That was leaving. "You're not alone," Maya said gently. "I'm staying with you." Evelyn squeezed her hand like a lifeline. And across the terminal, a man in a leather jacket quickly looked away when Maya glanced up, like he didn't want to be recognized, like he knew exactly who Evelyn was, and exactly why she'd been left there. They sat on a cold metal bench. Maya bought 2 vending machine coffees with the last $5 in her pocket. Evelyn held hers with shaking hands. "My son said we were moving," she murmured. "Closer to him, said I couldn't stay in the house alone anymore." "That sounds nice," Maya said gently. It did. Past tense. "He packed my things, sold the house, said he'd handle everything." Maya's stomach tightened. "Did you sign anything?" "Oh yes, dear, lots of papers. He said it was easier that way." "Of course he did. And then today," Evelyn continued, "he dropped me off here and said he had to park the car, told me to wait right here." She looked toward the doors like he might still walk back in. "But that was hours ago." Her voice broke. "He wouldn't just leave me, would he?" Maya couldn't lie, but she couldn't say the truth either, because the truth felt cruel, and illegal, and heartless. Before Maya could answer, she noticed something. That same man, leather jacket, watching them again. Phone raised, taking pictures. Why would someone photograph a crying old woman? Unless... He didn't want witnesses, and suddenly Maya realized. This wasn't just abandonment. This smelled like something worse, and they weren't the only ones involved. Security finally approached. Not to help. To move along. "You can't stay here overnight," the guard said flatly. "She has nowhere else," Maya protested. "Not my problem." Evelyn looked so embarrassed, like she'd done something wrong just by existing. "I don't want to be trouble," she whispered. That broke something inside Maya. You're not trouble. You're a person. But rules were rules. No tickets, no ride, no waiting. They had to leave. Rain poured harder outside. The parking lot nearly empty, cold wind biting. Maya checked her phone. $3.12 left in her bank account. No Uber, no family nearby. She could walk home alone, or stay with Evelyn. Only one choice felt human. My house isn't fancy, Maya said, but it's warm. Evelyn looked stunned. You'd take me home? Of course. But as they stepped outside, that leather jacket man climbed into a car and followed them out of the lot. Slowly. Headlights low, like a shadow that didn't want to be seen, and Maya suddenly wondered. Had helping Evelyn just made them both targets? Maya's mom, Denise, opened the door, tired from a double shift, then froze. Baby, who's this? This is Evelyn. She needs us. That was all Denise needed. No questions, just, come inside, honey. Soup, blanket, kindness. The house smelled like safety. Evelyn cried again, but softer this time. I haven't had someone cook for me in years, she whispered. Denise's eyes sharpened at that. What kind of son leaves his mama hungry? The question hung heavy. Later, while Evelyn slept on the couch, Denise pulled Maya aside. Something's wrong here, she said quietly. Real wrong. Yeah. And if somebody did what I think they did, that's elder abuse, baby. The words landed like thunder, not neglect, not accident, a crime. And just then, headlights flashed through the window, the same car from the terminal, parked across the street, engine running, watching the house. Denise slowly locked the door. Looks like somebody doesn't want us asking questions. Morning light. Pancakes. Normal. Almost. Then Denise found the envelope in Evelyn's suitcase. Do you mind if we look? Evelyn nodded. Inside, legal forms, property transfer, power of attorney, signatures everywhere. Evelyn's shaky handwriting on each page. Maya read one line aloud. Full asset authorization. Beneficiary, Daniel Parker. Daniel's my son, Evelyn said. Denise's jaw tightened. He didn't move you closer to him, she said quietly. He sold your house. Silence. You mean I don't have a home? You signed everything over. Evelyn's hands started shaking. I thought he was helping me. And then it hit. He hadn't lost her. He had dumped her, once the money cleared. And suddenly Maya knew. This wasn't just kindness anymore. This was justice. Because someone had stolen everything from a woman who trusted him. And if they walked away now, he'd get away with it. Denise didn't hesitate. We're calling someone, she said, already reaching for her phone. Evelyn looked terrified. No police, please! Daniel would be so upset if… Denise gently knelt beside her. Honey, if your own child leaves you in a bus station with nothing, he already crossed that line. You're not protecting him anymore. You're protecting yourself. That hit harder than anything. Evelyn stared at her hands like she was seeing them for the first time. I didn't want to believe it, she whispered. A mother always thinks there must be a reason. Maya squeezed her shoulder. Sometimes there isn't. Denise dialed Adult Protective Services. At first, Maya expected bureaucracy, waiting, forms, excuses. Instead, the woman on the line went very quiet, then serious. You said he transferred her assets and abandoned her in a public place? Yes. That's exploitation and abandonment. Both criminal. Criminal. The word echoed through the kitchen. They weren't overreacting. They weren't being dramatic. This was real. We're sending someone today, the agent said, and do not let her leave with anyone claiming to be family. Denise hung up slowly. Then, a knock, sharp, sudden. 3 hard raps. All 3 of them froze. Nobody was expecting visitors. Another knock, louder this time, and then a man's voice through the door. Mom, you in there? Evelyn's face drained of color. That's Daniel. Daniel Parker didn't look like a villain. That was the worst part. Pressed shirt, neat hair, polite smile, the kind of man people trusted instantly. Mom, he said warmly when Denise opened the door. There you are! I've been worried sick! Maya almost laughed. Worried? He'd left her for 9 hours. Evelyn stood slowly. Daniel, you said you were parking the car. Oh, you know how downtown is, he chuckled. Got tied up, came back and you were gone, I panicked. His eyes moved through the room, too fast. Then they stopped, on the paperwork. Just long enough. Maya caught it. Not guilt, fear. Thanks for helping her, he added, tone tightening, but I'll take her now. He reached for Evelyn's arm. Instinctively, Maya stepped between them. She's not going anywhere yet, Daniel's smile faded. Excuse me? We called Adult Protective Services, Denise said calmly. Silence. The air shifted. You what? His voice dropped. They just want to talk, Denise continued. Standard procedure. His jaw flexed. You people are misunderstanding. This is family business. No, Maya said quietly. Family doesn't abandon someone in a bus station. His eyes flicked to her, cold now, calculating. Then he leaned closer and whispered, You have no idea who you're messing with, kid. And just then, a white sedan pulled up outside. Government plates, APS had arrived. And Daniel suddenly didn't look so confident anymore. 2 agents sat at the kitchen table. Calm, professional, thorough. Daniel tried charm first. Big misunderstanding, he said. Mom gets confused sometimes. Evelyn flinched. Maya saw it. That tiny shrink, like she'd heard that sentence her whole life. Agent Morales didn't smile. Sir, we just need clarification on these documents. She slid the papers forward. Daniel's signature, Evelyn's signature, dates from just 2 weeks ago. House sold for $10,000, Morales read. Funds transferred entirely to your personal account. Daniel cleared his throat. I manage her finances. And this power of attorney? The second agent asked. Signed the same day as the sale? Efficiency, he muttered. Then came the line that changed everything. And security footage confirms you left her at the bus terminal at 8:14 a.m. and never returned. Silence. You told her you were parking the car, Morales continued. But records show you drove straight to the bank. Daniel's mask cracked. I was coming back! 8 hours later, Morales said flatly. No answer. Evelyn's eyes filled. So, you really weren't coming back? She whispered. Daniel didn't look at her, didn't deny it, didn't apologize. Nothing that hurt more than shouting ever could. The agents exchanged a glance. Sir, we're escalating this for financial exploitation and abandonment. Daniel stood suddenly. This is ridiculous. She's my mother. And that, Morales said quietly, makes it worse. But as they escorted him toward the door, Daniel turned back, and the look he gave Maya wasn't anger. It was hatred. Like she had ruined something he thought he already owned. And Maya realized this wasn't over yet. Not even close. The house felt lighter after he left, like stale air finally cleared. But Evelyn didn't celebrate. She just stared at the wall, 30 years of motherhood collapsing in one afternoon. I must have done something wrong, she murmured. Denise shook her head firmly. No, ma'am. Some folks just choose wrong. That ain't on you. Maya sat beside her. You raised him with love. What he did with it was his choice. Evelyn squeezed her hand. You're very brave, you know that? Maya smiled softly. I almost didn't stop. But you did. And then the phone rang. Agent Morales. We found something else, she said. Denise put it on speaker. There are 3 prior complaints against Daniel. Other seniors, similar paperwork, similar transfers. But no one ever had a witness willing to step in. Maya's heart thudded. He'd done this before, more than once. And because your daughter intervened, Morales continued, we finally have a clear case. Multiple victims are coming forward. Justice wasn't just for Evelyn. It was bigger, way bigger. Evelyn covered her mouth, stunned. He used me to hurt others too. Not anymore, Maya said softly. For the first time, Evelyn straightened her shoulders, not fragile, not helpless, but angry and determined. I want to testify, she said. Her voice didn't shake. I'm not scared of him anymore. And that's when Maya realized. The woman everyone ignored at the bus station, she wasn't weak. She was about to become the reason a predator finally fell. But court dates were set, and Daniel wasn't the kind of man who lost quietly. And 2 nights later, a brick crashed through their front window with a note attached. The crash sounded like a gunshot. Glass exploded across the living room. Evelyn screamed. Denise grabbed Maya and pulled her down behind the couch. For a second, nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Rain blew through the shattered window, cold and sharp. Then Maya spotted it. A brick, wrapped in paper. Denise unfolded the note slowly. 3 words. Drop the charges. No signature. No explanation. But they didn't need one. Evelyn's hands trembled. He wouldn't scare me like this. Nobody answered. Because they all knew the truth now. Yes, he would. Denise locked every door and called the police. While they waited, Evelyn stared at the broken glass like something inside her had finally snapped too. I protected him his whole life, she whispered. Defended him. Made excuses. Her voice hardened. Not anymore! Maya looked at her, really looked. The fragile woman from the bus station was gone. In her place was someone steadier, stronger. I'm not dropping anything, Evelyn said. If he thinks I'm scared, he doesn't know his mother at all. That night, nobody slept much, but something shifted. Fear had turned into resolve. And 2 weeks later, a court date arrived in the mail, Daniel Parker versus the state, and Evelyn Parker would be the star witness. But walking into that courtroom meant facing her son, and everything he'd done. The courthouse smelled like old paper and coffee, quiet, heavy, serious. Evelyn clutched Maya's hand like she had that first day, but this time she wasn't shaking. I'm glad it was you, she whispered. Glad what was me? The one who stopped, Maya swallowed. I almost didn't. But you did, Evelyn smiled. That's what matters. Across the room, Daniel sat at the defense table, suit, tie, calm expression, like this was just another business meeting. When he saw Evelyn, he didn't smile, didn't wave, didn't even stand. Just cold eyes, stranger's eyes. The prosecutor laid it out clearly. The house sale, the money transfers, the abandonment. 3 other seniors testifying through video. Same story, same trick, same betrayal. Daniel's lawyer tried everything. She signed willingly. She's forgetful. She misunderstood. But then Evelyn took the stand, slow, steady, no tears. I trusted my son, she said softly, and he treated me like luggage he didn't want to carry anymore. The courtroom went silent. I'm old, not stupid, and not disposable. Daniel finally looked down. I may have lost my house, she continued, but he lost something bigger. What's that? The prosecutor asked gently. My love. And somehow, that hit harder than any accusation. But the verdict still hung in the air, and the judge was about to decide Daniel's future. The courtroom didn't explode with drama, no shouting, no cheering, just quiet. The kind that presses against your ears. The judge adjusted his glasses, looked at Daniel, then at Evelyn. Financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult, multiple counts, documented abandonment, pattern of predatory behavior. Each word landed like a brick. This court finds the defendant guilty. Daniel's shoulders sagged, just slightly, like gravity finally caught him. Restitution will be paid in full from seized assets. Immediate sentence to follow. Evelyn let out a breath she'd probably been holding for months. Not triumph, not revenge, just relief. The heavy kind, like setting down a suitcase you didn't know you were carrying. Daniel glanced back once as officers led him away. Not angry, not proud, just small. And for the first time, powerless. Maya expected Evelyn to cry. Instead, she straightened her coat. Well, she said softly, guess we should go home. Home. The word sounded different now, because home wasn't a house, it wasn't money, it wasn't blood, it was the people who stayed. And as they stepped outside into the sunlight, Evelyn squeezed Maya's hand again. But you know something, dear? What? I think this whole thing started the moment you decided not to walk past me. 3 months later, spring, warm air, fresh start. The small house felt fuller now. Laughter in the kitchen, coffee brewing, Denise arguing playfully about pancake shapes, Evelyn humming by the window while watering plants like she'd lived there forever. Because now, she did. The restitution money helped, but that wasn't what mattered most. What mattered was this. She wasn't alone. Maya came home from work one afternoon and found Evelyn at the table with a stack of envelopes. "What's all this?" "Letters," Evelyn smiled. From the other seniors Daniel had hurt, thank you notes. One read, "Because you spoke up, he can't hurt anyone else." Another, "You saved us." Evelyn wiped her eyes. "I thought my life was shrinking," she said. "Turns out it was just beginning again." Later that evening, Maya walked past the same bus station. Same benches, same crowds, same rush, and there, another elderly man sitting alone, looking lost. People walked around him, just like before. Maya didn't hesitate, didn't think, didn't calculate the cost. She simply walked over. "Hi," she said gently. "You okay?" Because now she knew something most people forget. Sometimes justice doesn't start in courtrooms. Sometimes it starts with one person, stopping, turning back, and holding a hand no one else would. And that small act can change everything, fade out. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to Black Girl Storytime. Hit the like button to support the channel. Turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. Your support keeps these stories alive.